The night they decided to humiliate him was supposed to be funny, harmless, forgettable. A poor mechanic, grease still trapped under his nails, walking blindly into a joke designed by people who had never worried about rent or hunger. What no one expected was that this single cruel prank would quietly shake an empire, soften a guarded heart, and change the fate of a man who believed the world had already decided his worth. Before the story unfolds any further, take a moment. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that one honest heart can change everything, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel for more stories that remind us what being human truly means. Arif had learned early that life did not reward effort equally. By the time he was 14, his hands were already scarred from metal and fire, his childhood traded for survival. His father had died under the hood of a broken truck, heart giving out after years of unpaid labor, leaving behind debts instead of memories. His mother followed a year later, worn down by illness they could not afford to treat. The small roadside garage became Arif's entire world, a place that smelled of oil, rust, and quiet resilience. He slept in a narrow room behind the workshop, ate whatever he could manage, and worked until his muscles ached so deeply that sleep felt like mercy. He did not complain. Complaining, he believed, was a luxury. Each morning he washed his face with cold water, tied his worn apron, and greeted customers with the same polite nod. Some pitied him. Many ignored him. A few mocked him. He fixed their cars anyway, because dignity for him meant doing the job right, even when the world refused to look him in the eye. The prank began far from the garage, in a glass-walled office that overlooked the city like a throne. The CEO's inner circle, young executives raised on privilege and boredom, were celebrating a promotion. Laughter flowed easily, but meaning did not. Someone mentioned the mechanic they saw daily on their commute, the quiet man who never looked up. Another joked about setting him up on a blind date with the CEO's daughter, the woman who avoided social events and was known for her reserved nature. The idea grew uglier as it passed from mouth to mouth, dressed up as harmless fun, a story to laugh about later. They justified it easily. He would never know it was a joke, they said. He would feel special for one night, they said. They did not consider what hope costs when it is stolen. The invitation reached Arif through a customer who claimed to be helping a friend. A blind date, at a modest cafe, no expectations. Arif almost said no. He owned one decent shirt, and even that had been mended twice. But loneliness has a voice that grows louder in silence. For years he had gone to sleep imagining nothing, because imagining something hurt too much. That night, he allowed himself to imagine just a little. He arrived early, hands trembling as he folded them on the table. The cafe lights were soft, the kind that made everyone look gentler. When the woman walked in, everything around him seemed to slow. She moved carefully, not because she was weak, but because she observed the world deeply. This was the CEO's daughter, though Arif did not know that yet. She had grown up surrounded by people who spoke loudly and listened poorly. Her blindness had not taken her vision of character, only sharpened it. She sensed his nervousness immediately, not his clothes, not his background, but the way his breathing changed when she sat down, the way he tried to sit straighter, as if respect itself could be measured by posture. There was no awkward silence filled with forced charm. Instead, there was calm. Arif spoke about engines the way poets speak about stars. He explained how broken things often only needed patience, not force. He spoke of his parents with quiet reverence, never asking for sympathy. Something inside her shifted. She had been on many carefully arranged meetings where men tried to impress her with achievements and power. None of them spoke with honesty. None of them carried pain without bitterness. As the evening passed, she realized she was smiling without effort. When she said, simply and sincerely, that she liked him, it was not romance that startled the room, but truth. The laughter came later, behind closed doors, when the executives congratulated themselves on a prank well played, until the CEO himself heard about it. He was not a gentle man, but he understood reputation, and he understood cruelty when it wore the mask of humor. He summoned his daughter, expecting embarrassment or anger. Instead, he found calm certainty. She explained how the mechanic had treated her like a person, not a prize or a problem, how he listened, how he spoke with humility, how for once she felt seen without being watched. The CEO investigated quietly. He visited the garage unannounced, watching from across the street as Arif worked through rain, refusing to rush a repair even when customers grew impatient. He noticed how Arif handed back extra change when someone overpaid, how he helped an elderly man push a stalled car without being asked. This was not a man pretending for a date. This was who he was. When the truth of the prank surfaced, consequences followed swiftly. Apologies were issued, jobs were lost, and laughter turned to shame. But the most significant change happened in Arif, who learned the truth not through cruelty, but through honesty. The CEO's daughter returned to the garage one afternoon, not as a joke, not as a test, but as herself. She told him everything, the prank, the privilege, the mistake. Arif felt the old instinct to withdraw, to apologize for existing where he was not meant to be. But something had changed. He had been treated with respect once, and now he knew what it felt like. Instead of anger, he felt clarity. He told her he had never wanted a miracle, only fairness. She listened, and in that listening, trust began to grow. Their connection did not transform his life overnight. He still worked long hours. He still struggled. But opportunities appeared, not handed out as charity, but earned through recognition. The CEO invested in the garage, not to elevate Arif into a story, but to give him tools to become what he already was. Arif trained young apprentices from backgrounds like his own, teaching them that skill was power and honesty was wealth. Love, when it arrived fully, was quiet. It grew in shared routines, in mutual respect, in understanding that pain does not disqualify someone from happiness. When they stood together, they did not erase their differences, they honored them. As this story moves toward its end, if it has touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who believes kindness still matters, and subscribe to the channel so more stories like this can find their way to the people who need them. And before the final moments, we have a special request for you. Please comment the word kindness below if you believe that one sincere heart can change an entire world. Years later, when Arif locked up the garage at night, he often looked at his hands. They were still scarred, still rough, but now they carried more than survival. They carried proof. Proof that dignity cannot be pranked away, that love does not ask for permission from status, and that sometimes the blind date meant to humiliate a man ends up revealing the blindness of those who thought they were above him.